In this training, we'll cover how to install the GroundSwell desktop application for scheduling, starting, and hosting your audio and web meetings. Just a few points about the desktop app as a way to manage your conferences versus using the Microsoft Outlook plugin or the GroundSwell online portal. The desktop app is obviously something that sits on your Windows or Mac machine, and the biggest difference between it and using the portal or the plugin is when you host audio-only conference calls. With the desktop app, you can actively see callers or numbers in your meeting room lobby waiting to get into your conference. You can also see callers that are actively in conference. The app will allow you to control some aspects of the audio conference call from within the application. In order to control your audio conference when using the plugin or portal, you have to use touch-tone commands on your keypad. For example, if you wanted to record an audio-only call, you need to press *2, or if you wanted to mute all participants while in conference, you would select *6 from the dial pad. Related to scheduling and starting your meetings, the Outlook plugin is primarily used for its ease of use and simplicity, and the online portal would be used for meetings that require a more customized look. So if you wanted to add a company logo, if you wanted to add a presenter bio, a description of the meeting, if you wanted to add a picture of the presenter, these are all things that can be done through the portal. I can also do campaign tracking. It can also act as a backup option for starting your meetings in the event you couldn't access Outlook or if the desktop app wouldn't open. And whatever option you choose for managing your meetings, all three options will sync with each other. So in other words, if you schedule a meeting using the Outlook plugin, it will sync that meeting within the portal or the desktop app and vice versa. So the first thing I want to do is go to the GroundSwell web link where you'll be able to download the ExpressMeet app. So we'll go ahead to this link here, www.groundswellnetworks.net/L3 Meeting Center download. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that into a browser. And that'll take you to this landing page. And once you go ahead and select downloads and then scroll down to ExpressMeet desktop app, to the right you'll see ExpressMeet for Windows or Mac download depending on which type of machine you have. So I'm going to select download here. So a file is going to open that contains the desktop app, and it's going to take you through a two-step process to get it set up. The information that you're going to need to complete the setup is contained in a welcome letter that you received from GroundSwell. And that welcome letter would have come from conferencecenter@groundswellnetworks.net, which is highlighted in blue here. And within that email contains the welcome letter, and will cover the on-demand toll-free number, which you'll need to enter here, the access code, as well as the chairperson passcode. The on-demand toll-free number is the number that you'll dial as a host and a participant in order to access the audio bridge of your meeting. The secondary toll-free number listed underneath takes you to the same location. It's a backup to the toll-free. So in the event the toll-free didn't work, you could dial this secondary toll number. The access code is unique to each host, and it is needed by both the host and participant to access the web and audio portion of your meetings. The chairperson passcode is also unique to each host, but unlike the access code, this needs to remain private to each host, so do not distribute this to your participants. Think of it as a bank card PIN number, but it is needed by the host in order to start your meetings. So if this number has ever gotten compromised, you want to go ahead and reach out to support@groundswellnetworks.net, and we'll get that changed. Or you can log into the portal, which is located here, and you can self-administer that and change it. So let's go ahead and get started. Enter your name. And again, it's asking for a ready access dial-in number. That is your on-demand toll-free number. So, and that's the same for everyone listening to this training. So 855-852-7677. Access code 9291122, and your host passcode is your chairperson passcode. Go ahead and select save and next. It's going to validate. Step 2, it's going to ask for your phone number. So this is where the system would call you when hosting calls. So you have two ways to join the audio portion of your meeting. Is you can manually dial the number, the 855 number, or the secondary toll-free number, the 404 number from your phone, or you can have the system call you. It's much easier when the system calls you. So you can put that number here, and you can add a number depending on where you intend to host your meetings from. So I imagine in most cases it's going to be from your office line, but if you chose to host calls from your cell phone, you could do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my office number and then label it, save, and done. So now that we've got the desktop app open, I'm going to cover 4 tabs at the top: home, host, join, and more. The home screen, home tab, you can see your meetings for the day. So today is Thursday, January 25th, and you can see I've got 3 meetings scheduled. Meetings that show up in blue are actually meetings where it involves a GroundSwell audio and/or web conference. If it's in gray, the system allows you to sync other Outlook invitations to the desktop apps. You can see those as well. If you scroll down here, you'll see start audio meeting and start web meeting. So these, if you had an impromptu meeting that you needed to start right away, you could select those options. Start web meeting. So you'd want to do this if you were already established on an audio call, or if you just had one or two attendees that were going to join your call and you didn't need to use the audio bridge, and you just needed to share your desktop and you call someone directly. You could use the audio or the web meeting only. Also use this if you intend to host your conference over the internet. So if you have a PC with a microphone and a stable internet connection, you can also possibly hook up a headset to your PC, and you can host the audio portion of your meeting through the internet. Jumping over to host. So a couple of things. I'm going to jump down to the middle first. People waiting in lobby. So I'm going to get back to this, but this will show you callers that are in lobby, and it'll also show you callers that are in conference, assuming that you've started your conference. But again, we'll jump back to that. Email invite. So the system, if you selected this option, will open up an Outlook email and populate your meeting details that your attendees will need in order to join your meeting. That'll populate in the body of the email. Secondly, copy link. So if you wanted to copy the link that your attendees would need in order to join the meeting, you could select copy link. You could go back to an invite or an email. You go ahead and copy that link. And again, that's what your attendees will need to join your meeting. If you're ready, if you have an existing meeting and you're ready to start it, or a scheduled meeting, you can start audio and web meeting by selecting this option, and the system will launch the web meeting controls as well as call you at the number we specified in step 2 of the setup. So in this case, it's my office line. If you had, again, an impromptu meeting that you wanted to start instantly, you could hit start audio and you could hit start web here. Moving over to the join tab. If you had another conference that you were invited to join that was being hosted by someone else with a GroundSwell credentials, you could select join via Call Me Online, and you could join this web meeting assuming you had the access code to the meeting that you were invited to. More will give you settings options that you can change for the application. So this will allow you to turn on or off whether your Outlook meetings show up in the desktop app, show conference center meetings. So these are meetings that involve a GroundSwell audio and or web conference. You could turn that on or off. Show reminder notifications. So if you had an upcoming meeting, the system would notify you in advance that meeting was coming up. You also have the ability to launch the application when you start your machine, so you can turn that on or off as well. So I'm going to jump back over to host quickly. So now let's assume you have a meeting coming up. If you look under people waiting in audio lobby, you can see that there's 2 callers that are waiting to join my audio conference bridge, and essentially they're in a virtual lobby. So assuming that I'm ready to start my meeting, and this is an audio only meeting, I'm going to move down and select start audio. And the system will ask me where I should be called. So assuming you have more than one number here, you could select which number you want the system to call you on. So if you set up an office line or a cell phone number, the system will call you at the specified number. In this case, I just have one number, so I'm going to go ahead and select call me at my office. My phone set is going to ring. I'm going to go ahead and answer that. And in order to start the conference, I'm going to select 1 and then 1 again. And you'll notice that the callers that were in your virtual lobby will now be placed into conference. So you can see myself as the meeting host, and to the right there's an indicator microphone that shows who's speaking during the call. So if my attendees are speaking, a microphone indicator would show up next to the right of their phone number. If you also scroll to the left, there's a red X. So if for whatever reason this caller was being disruptive, or they forgot to put their phone on mute, you could disconnect them from the call by hitting this red X, and they would be notified that they're being disconnected from the meeting. Moving up, you can start recording. So if you needed to record the audio conference, you could select that option from here. You can lock audio. So if you had back-to-back meetings that could potentially overlap, you could select lock audio so callers could not enter into the wrong conference accidentally. If you selected more, there's 3 options that show up here. Turn conference continuation on. So as a host of a meeting, if you do not turn this on and you disconnect from a call, then that entire call is going to drop. And that includes if you had a bad cell phone connection, if you're hosting your call from a cell phone. If you turn this on and you drop as the host, your participants will continue to be able to talk or collaborate on your conference. So consider that. Also mute all. So if you had a larger conference with maybe 15, 20, 25 people or more, and just by virtue of the fact there's a lot of participants on your call, there could be a disturbance. So you can, from the interface, mute the call, and then you can also unmute the call. So make sure when you do this, if you had other presenters on the call, you understand that you're going to mute them out as well. And that pretty much covers the features or the controls that you have for an audio conference from within the app. If you have not received the welcome letter from GroundSwell, reach out to support@groundswellnetworks.net, and that concludes the training for the desktop app. Thank you.